What's going on, everyone? It's Sal, Stretford Post. How you all doing? And welcome to another episode of Breaking Dawn. I hope everyone's doing good. Hope everyone's doing fine. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. Of course, guys, you're absolute legends. Thank you, guys. Let's get straight into it. But before I do, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And please don't forget to smash a like on the video. If you guys can do that for me, it'd be absolutely fantastic. Let's dive straight into it now. I want to talk about transfer news first, and then we're going to go from there, of course, in regards to Man United. Now, breaking, Manchester United have had scouts at the World Club Championship, believe it or not. Would you believe it? Would you believe it? And Manchester United, one player that caught Manchester United's eye is a player called Milton Delgado, a player named Milton Delgado. Milton Delgado is a defensive midfielder, Argentine under-20 international with 7 caps and 1 goal. He is 20 years old and he is a fairly cheap player, about I wouldn't say cheap, but affordable for Manchester United now. He's worth 5.5 million euros, guys. So it's probably about 20 million for Man United, wouldn't it, if you think about it? He can play in central midfield and he can also play as a defensive midfielder, which is he is handy. His contract expires in 2028. He's currently playing for Boca Juniors in Argentina, of course. And of course, Boca Juniors were in the World Club Championship. And now, look, guys, I would urge Manchester United. I'm telling you again, I would urge Manchester United to go after deals like this, to find deals like this. Because if we're not going to get the players that are way above our price range, right? If we're not going to get them, which is obvious, we should just go to a place like South America, find some gems over there for cheaper. Why don't we do that? Why are we so lazy? Now, this news is refreshing to me because I haven't seen a bit of news like this for like a few weeks now in regards to Man United scouting in South America, which is, it's refreshing for me. And it shows that intent to scout, because at the moment we've got all these best in class scouts at our football club and haven't been scouting. Now, Milton Delgado is a player that I admire, mentioned on the show before. But now we are looking at him at the moment, and we should be proceeding and trying to get these deals over the line. Defensive midfielder, energetic, a bit of spice in there as well in regards to his tackling, a little bit of a young Roy Kean kind of player. That is the type of player that we need. Milton Delgado being linked with Manchester United, scouted by Manchester United, get a step on Man United, get a move on and get the deals done like this, of course, guys. I thought I'd chuck that one in there for you. I was hearing today in Italy, I was speaking to someone from Canal, obviously a French outlet, and they have been speaking about this player coming to Manchester United. Well, let's wait and see what happens, guys. Let's read out some of your comments, guys. Let's read some of them out. Hey, Albie, how you doing, my friend? How you good? Are you good? Good to see you, Albie. How you doing? Thank you so much for joining me this morning. I hope everything is good with you. Really good to see you. Bill, good morning, Bill. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Morning, sir, everyone. I have a feeling we will go for Moise Kean now. He has a fixed price for another week, so easily doable. He's 25 goals. He's a 45 minute-ish. Let's see. Yeah, we're going to get into that. Big up, Bill. I hope you're doing well. Big up, Randall. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Absolutely good to see everyone. Big up, Mark. What's going on? Welcome back, Sal. Hope you enjoyed the anniversary, bro. Thank you so much, Mark. Really appreciate that. Yeah, just a quiet one, low-key one, mate. Thank you so much, mate. I had a quiet nice with the family and that. It wasn't too bad, guys, but I think I overindulged yesterday in the elements, if you know what I mean, in regards to food and stuff. And stuff. Hi, Steve. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Albie, good to see you. I'm good to see you as well. Big up, fan. Hope you're doing well. Good morning, Awalabi. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you as well. All good to see everyone in the house. Big up, everyone. Mark. Guys, I don't know if we are going to sign anyone top level anymore. United can't even add 3 million to doable get deal done for Mbeumo. I'm not looking forward to the coming season. This is exactly what we're talking about, isn't it, Mark? That, if Man United can't do these deals, and Man United are incapable of doing these deals, then go after deals that are more doable for them, which means that go to South America or somewhere like that and scout and find a player that is doable, is affordable. Because at the moment, we're just dillying and dallying. We're just like putting all our eggs in one basket and hoping that, something happens. I'm looking at Man United and it seems to me that we're getting a little bit desperate. There's a little bit of desperation there. the Calvert-Lewin deal, for example, is desperation. And why is it desperation? It's because the Calvert-Lewin has missed a number of games over the last 5 years, nearly 1,000 games, guys, in injuries, right? So that shows me desperation. So why don't you go to South America or with your scouts and find good players? At the end of the day, you know what I mean, guys? Yeah. So Johnny, Sal Milton doesn't have the physical attributes to the EPL. You know what I mean? Neither does Calvert-Lewin and players like that, mate. At the end of the day, neither does Moise Kean, because Moise Kean flopped at Everton, didn't he? At the end of the day, we could throw that out there as well. But at the same time, you're going to have to take risks in football. You never know what kind of development they can get. When players come to the Premier League, they might develop. And they might get stronger. They might get physically stronger. When players are young, notoriously, they're going to be a little bit lightweight sometimes and maybe not physically strong enough, but they can build into those type of players. But I would say he adds energy, he adds tenaciousness into our midfield, and I think that he adds a price range also into our midfield. Unfortunately, Man United can't go out there right now and buy a Wharton or buy a Baleba, as much as I would love those players. I would love a Baleba and Wharton. I don't think Man United have got the facilities to do that at the moment, unfortunately. But if we go out there and find a gem like Milton, of course, I would be happy with that. I think that it shows intent to explore the market more rather than just being tunnel visioned with our scouts, with our scouting. We're very one dimensional. We're going after players that we already know about. Everyone knows about the players that we're going at, but they're not really They're not really like players who are unheard of. Cunha and Mbeumo and Jokeres and Osman. These are all players that we all know. You know what I mean? That is not scouting for me. And I think Man United need to do a little bit more scouting and be a bit more smart with the deals that we do, because Man United obviously are in a different place right now. We can't even get Mbeumo over the line. Mbeumo said he wanted to come to Manchester United on the 2nd of June, over a month ago, and we still haven't got that deal over the line, So we got to start getting deals done quickly, and I think this is the only way to do it, in my opinion. But we don't need top level at the moment. People will play for the badge. Big up LB, I agree. We definitely do need that. Bill, John Arias has been decent for Fluminense, but he's not what we want if we get Mbeumo. Look, there's lots of players out there that we can throw out there, Bill. Or John Arias and players like that. Man United can obviously sign Mbeumo, and then we'll be okay in that position. But what we can do in the midfield, like a player like Milton, right? Milton Delgado, for example, is the type of player that will go to Brighton and Hove Albion, right? He will go to Brighton and Hove Albion and then play well there, and then he will sign for another football club for about 60 million in a couple of years. That's what's going to happen, guys. You know what I mean? And this is what Man United need to do. Man United need to cut out the middleman and go to the source, right? And sign the players from the club that, Brighton would go after. You know what I mean? And selling for profits in a couple of years. So that's what we need to do right now. No, we're not Brighton, and we got our expectation. This is why we're getting in Mbeumo and we got Cunha. But we can get these type of players in there in the mix. Do you know what I mean? To be nurtured alongside Casemiro and stuff like that. And then you never know what can happen with these type of players. And it's a win-win, because at the end of the day, you sign him for 6 million, 7 million euros. He comes to Man United, and then who knows what can happen? I know, the price is going to be a lot more than that probably. It may probably come to 15, 20 million, you know what I mean? But still, it's a very affordable price for a player who plays for, at a decent level for the Argentine under-20 team, you know what I mean? So he's a future Argentine international, guys. So that I would say. Guys, so let me get into it. Moise Kean, of course. Manchester United are exploring a deal for Moise Kean. Now, what the thing with Moise Kean, okay? I've been speaking about Moise Kean quite often over this last few weeks. What do I think of Moise Kean? Okay, personally, I'll be honest with you, in my personal opinion, I don't think he's good enough. But I would say that because I saw him in the Premier League before. I saw him play for Everton. I've seen him play in the Serie A. I'm in Italy at the moment. I am connected to Italian football. But what I would say is that he would be a challenger for that starting place in our team right now. And where Manchester United are right now is in a place where we can't be that fussy, unfortunately, because look where we are, guys. it's sad where we are, and I hate saying this. You know what I mean? I hate being like, what, we need him because we can't get anyone else. I hate that sort of thing. But one thing I would say is that 25 years old, 7 goals for Italy, of course, 21 caps. Still got like 3-4 years left on his contract. But guys, he's 50 million euros. 50 million euros. Now, 50 million euros. How much is Man United going to get him for? This is just the starting price, okay, guys? Starting price. 50 million euros. Man United are going to have to get him for 60, 70. Look how hard we are struggling at the moment to sign Mbeumo. And we're fussing over a few million, okay? How are we going to get a 50, 60 million Moise Kean through the door? It's a fixed price. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's great, but we can't afford that amount of money, guys. We can't afford that amount of money, and that is, at the end of the day, it's gonna be about 50 million, isn't it? Man United, can they afford 50 million? We're saying this right now. This is why I'm talking about Man United exploring the market a little bit more, looking around a little bit more in other countries, in Holland, in Germany, for a striker. Look, and you shall find. Go to Ukraine, go to Serbia, go to these countries, find a striker. Man United used to do that notoriously back in the day. We don't do that sort of thing anymore. This kind of scouting, this kind of smart minded how do you say it, technique in the transfer market. We don't do that as often and as prolifically as we used to do, and I think that's what Man United need to do. In regards to Moise Kean, he is wanted by Napoli. He's wanted by Napoli as well. So, there is a lot of interest in him. So Napoli is an interesting one as well. Napoli could pounce. And speaking of Napoli, in regards to Garnacho, Napoli have signed Lang from PSV Eindhoven. So that does leave it unlikely that Garnacho will be going to Napoli. Of course, Napoli are one of the main suitors for Garnacho. And again, we're unable to get rid of players as well. And this is becoming a bit of an issue as well. We can't get rid of players. And to be honest with you, we're going to end up next season with the same players as we had, last season, without any outgoings. I firmly believe that things will change. I believe that. But obviously, we have to look at things how they are at the moment and how we're feeling at the moment. There's not much enthusiasm within the Man United fan base, and I don't think there should be at the moment. I think these guys should be held accountable, and I think that we shouldn't be overly zealous. Guys, and what I would say is that I'm cautiously optimistic that something will happen in this window, but I won't be surprised if we get a very disappointing window again, and Ruben Amorim's left with the Sharks next season, and that would be unacceptable. Because the one thing I don't want, as I keep banging on about, is that I don't want Ruben Amorim to go into next season with his hands tied behind his back. And blindfolded. I want him to have a fair crack at the whip. I want him to have a fair chance, next season. And because I know that certain parts of the fan base are going to turn against him in the sixpence. They're going to turn against him and forget about the window. They're going to forget about the context. And they're just going to start blaming Ruben Amorim for every single thing, for the weather changing and stuff like that. And it's going to be absolutely toxic. And it is highly likely with this team that we currently have. So I would do anything. I would fight tooth and nail to have a completely different team next season, even if it means working on a budget. But you can get good deals out there. There are good deals, Where did Alex Ferguson get Chicharito from? Kivas? At the end of the day, do you know what I'm saying? Where did they get him from? Gabriel Heinze, these type of players. Where did Sir Alex Ferguson get them from? This is what we have to look at. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Henning Berg, and these type of players. Now, you got to look. There are players out there. Go to Scandinavia. People look at it, right? What the problem with scouts these days, right? They will look at a club, right, and they will look at a big club in Sweden, a big club in Norway, a big club in Denmark, right, and then they'll pick the player from those big clubs. Why don't they look at the next level clubs in those countries? And you might find a gem, Ronnie Johnson, another one. You know what I mean? What you might find a gem. You might find a fantastic player, in these leagues. But we're very snobbish the way we look for players at the moment. I've noticed that. We're very snobby the way we go around with our scouting and things like that, obviously, But going after players, Moise Kean's not an unknown quantity. Everyone knows who Moise Kean is. For example, where's the scouting? Where's the scouting? You ain't got the money, but you're not scouting. And I'm not seeing any players apart from this morning when I saw the news about Milton Delgado. It shocked me. I almost spat out my coffee, guys. And that we actually looking at a player that is an unknown quantity to a lot of people. Irfan, big up yourself. Hope you're doing well. Moise Kean is coming to Man United or slow FC Glazer out, Qatar in. Big up, Irfan. How you doing? New scouts and whatever, but just stuck on their Premier League players overpriced quotes. Absolutely. Big up, Amar. Good morning, Sanjay. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Palms, good morning. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Hope you're well. Good to see you again, mate. Hope everything is cool. Chelsea looked scary, like good last night, pressing hard from the front and 2 good goals by Pedro. Well, Bill, I wouldn't say scary. They're playing teams that are not that good. I'll be honest with you, and that is no disrespect, but they're not. I would judge them in the Premier League, to be honest with you. Well, they're going to play PSG and Real Madrid in this final, isn't it? So at the end of the day, let's see how they do against one of those teams. Of course, let's not judge them against Brazilian teams and things like that. At the end of the day, because at the end of the day, as much as we find gems in Brazil and there's good players in Brazil, Chelsea have spent a lot of money compared to them. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, and what I would say is that let's judge them against PSG and against Real Madrid, and let's see how they do then, isn't it? At the end of the day, that's what I would say. I don't think Chelsea would do anything next season. I think they'll qualify for the Champions League. I do, but I don't think they'll win challenge for any major honours, in my opinion. But what it is at the end of the day is that. I said it to Jamie Jackson yesterday. I don't rate this tournament at all. I don't think that this tournament has the best teams in it in regards to historically. I felt like historically they should have picked the best teams, not the teams that have been good this last 4 years to fit your narrative. And that's what I would say. So, yeah. Happy with the news anyway. There's a Paulino in Palmeiras, a very good striker. Lucius is the gem. Johnny Ayer, absolutely Johnny Ayer. And this is exactly what we've been talking about, isn't it? This is exactly what we mean, isn't it, Johnny? This is exactly what we're talking about. We're talking about players that, what we can find. The players that we say, well, he's a good player. He's a good player. What about him? What about him? What about him? There's loads around the world, Johnny. There's loads of players around the world who we could scout and we could get who would be probably more effective than your Calvert-Lewins or even Moise Kean. If you look, you shall find. If you just rest on your laurels and you're just sitting there doing nothing and, just going after the targets that are, it just shows a lack of ball knowledge, doesn't it, from our own ownership. They show a lack of intelligence in regards to the market. They don't really have a decent scouting prowess about them. And I thought that's what we purchased them for. We did purchase them. They cost a lot of money, these guys. Wilcox, Favel, Barada, they cost a lot of money. So what's going on here? I mean, I understand Wilcox, I understand Barada, but Vivel, I thought Vivel was one of those master guys in regards to finding players. But what is going on? Moise Kean, come on, guys. We know about Moise Kean. We knew about Moise Kean in the Premier League. He's got, he got 19 goals this season in like 30, 40 appearances. It's all right. It's all right. He's not breaking the house down or anything like that. But, I think he pays penalties as well. So, we have to obviously look at that, and I'm, of course, if Man United sign Moise Kean, I'll be extremely happy. I'll be happy that Man United sign Moise Kean. That's great. That's good news. Yeah, we're moving forward. We got a striker, blah, blah, blah. You know what? What's happening with Mbeumo, guys? And in regards to Mbeumo, look, I've said it already. Mbeumo will be a Man United player. He will be. It will get through the door by hook or by crook. That he will be a Man United player. All the evidence is there, but we've really dragged our heels on this one, and we've really taken our time and wasted a lot of time in the market. And the fact is that we haven't worked on 2 deals at a time. We're working on 1 deal at a time, which is madness, isn't it? Big up, Vincent. How you doing, my friend? I'll be doing buongiorno. Come sta? Bien. Thank you so much, my friend. I'm very well. Thank you, my friend. Big up, Vincent. Hope you're well. Tyler Dibbling news. Nothing at the moment, mate. What I'm hearing, solid at the moment. Man United are interested in Tyler Dibbling, of course. Another £40 million player. It's too much, man. Moise Kean is decent. He's decent. He's all right. He flopped in the Premier League. Let's not forget. This so-called football structure is a joke. They need sacking before Amram. Absolutely, Alex Ferguson. Love the name. Alex Ferguson, look. This football structure is an absolute farce at the moment, and we have to call things how they are. We can't be overly zealous and being toxic positivity, because that's not what we do in there. We call it as it is. We call the truth, and that is it. And unfortunately, some people can't handle the truth. But this is the truth. We will tell the truth, and the way things are going at the moment, it is diabolical. And for a club of our size, we don't deserve this. Man United don't deserve this type of ownership. Man United should have better owners, for what we've done in English football, what we've achieved in English football, putting English football on the map. So people teams like Chelsea and like Man City can go to a World Club Championship and earn loads of money because of teams like Man United putting the Premier League on the map, by the way, guys. And that is a fact, right? So at the end of the day, what I would say is that I'm very disappointed, very, very angry, yes. And, hopefully something happens in this next few days that, could ease the frustration a little bit, because this is getting a little bit of a joke, isn't it? It's an embarrassment, guys. It is an embarrassment what Man United are doing at the moment. I'm not surprised that Ineos are not showing their face anywhere at the moment, because it is embarrassing. They are embarrassing themselves. You know what I mean? They need to get me or someone else to help them out a little bit. You know what I mean? You want to find players, guys. You want me to help you find some players? Man United, come at me. I will find you some players. I'm over here in Italy. I'll find you some players in Italy. I'll find you some players in Serie B, Serie C, Serie D for you if you want. I could do that for you. You know what I mean? I've got a player called Francesco Camada, who's a youth player at AC Milan, who can bang in the goals all day long for you if you want. He's just gone on loan to Lecce, by the way. He can bang in the goals, or Liberali, or anyone you want. If you want me, I can come and help you. But you know what? We don't fit the narrative, isn't it? We're not part of their club. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, and they just think they know, because they're mates rates at the end of the day, but they don't know anything about world football. Otherwise they'll be going out there signing these gems. I mean, why aren't they looking in Japan? There's some great players in Japan and South Korea. We all know about South Korea with Ji-Sung Park and players like that. Why are we not looking in these teams and places as well? Absolutely. Big up, Lee. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're good. Good morning, El Salino. How you enjoying the holiday? It's work as well. Work and play. Absolutely. Thank you so much. And I've been a very relaxed, mellow time, of course, guys. But I'm trying to work as well, trying to get all the news forward, of course, guys. But big up, Helge. Hope you're doing well. Thank you, you legend, mate. Thank you so much, Helgenio. Good to see you, mate. Josh, what's going on, my friend Sal? The guy is 5'5". I mean, Maradona was 5'5", wasn't he, Josh? I know I don't want to compare anyone to Maradona. Gianfranco Zola was 5'5", wasn't he? At the end of the day, you can say that. Wasn't Dunga short as well? World Cup winner with Brazil, of course, guys. That is another thing as well. At the end of the day, look, you know what? Height doesn't really mean much. It's about application. Look at Licha Martinez. People could argue that Licha Martinez is too small to be a Man United defender, isn't it? That's another one. Mark, at 25 million, the Rio still had to be done already. There are so many good players that show in the World Cup champion. You know what it is, Mark? And you know what is also on show? Man United's incompetence. Because whilst these players are on show, we're not showing was it intelligence to go after these players and go for these players and get deals like Rios over the line. I've been speaking about Rios, Mark, since last summer. Here in this very spot, I was talking about Richard Rios. And Man United have him on their list, and they're going to wait until next year that they might sign him because he's too overpriced now, and they're over-exaggerating his price and everything like that. I said back then that we should get Richard Rios, and lo and behold, everyone's starting to talk about Richard Rios now, of course. And what I would say is that get it done. 25 million, get it done. It's not going to be 25 million, though. Let me tell you right now, it won't be. This is one of the biggest problems that we're having at the moment, is that they want to overprice him. And put his price up to about 40. So one journalist said 60 million. We'll have to wait and see. Guys, now, let me get into another player Man United have been scouting. His name is Terence Kudu. Koudou. Koudou. Terence Kudu is a player who plays for Pau FC, P-A-U FC. They basically are a second-tier French team. I mean, guys, he is a right back playing for the French under-20s. He's got 10 caps for the French under-20. And his contract expires in a year. So a player that Man United are exploring to get in is him. Right back, can also play left back, very versatile, which is good, what Man United need. And he could be coming to Manchester United on a free in a year's time. So that is one thing I wanted to talk about briefly, that Man United are looking at these type of players, these young players that, you know what, we can get for peanuts or nothing at the end of the day. Decent player, in my opinion. But is it the player that we need? At the moment, Man United can possibly do a deal now for Mr. Terence Kadu. They can get him for €2 million. €2 million right now because his contract expires in a year. So can Man United do that type of deal? Again, scouting, being proactive with working on deals that can be affordable for talent. You don't play for a French under-20 team if you're not talented, in my opinion, guys. Right back, left back, can play right wing back, can play left wing back, good player, another player off the conveyor belt of players that Man United are interested in, of course, guys, absolutely. Rico and Xavi in. There we go. Big up, fan. Helge. With my Italian roots, I watched Serie A weekend. Moise, it's not 100% the same he was at Everton. He just plays in a poorer league with more self-confidence. That's it. He is Bambi on ice. Helge, you know what? I've been saying this. People look at numbers. This is what they do. They don't look at context. I tend to look at context, and I remember him at Everton. Yes, he was very young. I give him that. I remember him. He was talented, but very young. I remember him. But we have to be very careful with Serie A. We do. Because obviously we've been here before, and we have to be careful, especially players who are worth €50 million, guys. €50 million. This is not a €15 million player. This is a €50 million. This guy is top of our budget range. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day. So, yeah, interesting. Great comment, though. Absolutely true, Helge. Budimir from Osasuna is a good aged panic buy striker to get us through the season, then buy a decent striker next year. There you go, Alex Ferguson. Big up yourself. Big up, We've 7. How you doing, my friend? How are we doing? Well, good to see you. Ineos and Sergio Ratcliffe should sell OGC in these shares in the F1 Grand Prix. Absolutely. They would do that, though, would they, Samuel? And the reason they wouldn't do that is because of their vanity. They want as many eggs in there. They want as many hands in every pot. That's what they want. This is what they're about, is vanity. This is what I'm beginning to realize, like, what Ineos are all about is about vanity projects and vanity and owning this, owning that. We own this, we own that, we own this, just for plainly for arrogance and ego. And that's how I'm seeing it at the moment in regards to that. Absolutely. Helge, he is serious about music. He actually dropped an album some months ago with music videos and everything. He is serious about music, hangs out with rappers and spends a lot of time in it. No thanks. Helge, very, very good, intelligent point there from Helge, because that is very true. We don't want any wannabe rappers in our team, guys. Let me tell you that right now. As a guy who was in hip-hop for 20 years, guys, I know I love hip-hop, but I want a player who's concentrating 100% on Manchester United, not make rap videos after losing 1-0 to Sunderland. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to be making diss records, hit him up against bloody Harry Maguire and things like that. Do you know what I mean? I want him to be hitting him up in the back of the net. That's what I want. I don't want to hit him up on the bloody studio, you know what I mean? Because Harry Maguire slipped for a goal or something like that. No offense to Harry Maguire. This is not diss Harry Maguire. This is not hit him up against Harry Maguire. There's not going to be a record called hit him up against Harry Maguire. But you know what I'm saying? We want a player that is primarily focused religiously on football. Football only. That's what we want. We don't want any of these distractions, these outside noises around. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, in my humblest of humbles, guys. Absolutely. Thank you. Big up, Helge. Napoli rejected Gala's 60 million bid, but Osimhen has accepted his personal terms, so we can confirm that he's United out of the race now. We probably can confirm that, Davies. That's another one bites the dust, as we say. Osimhen is quite likely to sign for Galatasaray. My question would be this. If Galatasaray can get Osimhen over the line and they can sign Osimhen, why couldn't Manchester United? Galatasaray have nowhere near the revenue. Galatasaray have nowhere near the stature. Galatasaray have nowhere near the wages that we can afford. How comes that Galatasaray have got Osimhen and Man United can't? I'll tell you why. Let me give my theory on it. We're slow. We're lazy. We put all our eggs in one basket. We got the Mbeumo only. Not thinking that, oh yeah, we need a striker as well, by the way. We can't forget that at the end of the day. If I'm late for work, right, guys? If I'm late for work and I'm rushing around, I'm getting changed and that, I've got a sandwich in my mouth and I'm rushing to get to work, right? at the end of the day, I'm gonna still put both my socks on, right? I'm going to still put my underwear on, right? I'm going to still put my waistcoat on, right? I'm going to still do that, okay? I'm going to still do that. I'm not going to forget one shoe, am I? I'm not going to forget my trousers and walk out the door. You know what I mean? I'm going to get everything done because I have to get everything done. Otherwise, I'm going to look like a prat when I go to work, isn't it? At the end of the day, and this is what Man United are. Man United are not concentrating on one deal at a time, two deals at a time. You know, we're not asking for 3, 4 deals at a time. We're asking just concentrate on a couple at a time. You know, this is what it is, and we're forgetting about what is a necessity. Just like my trousers are a necessity to go out to work, so is a striker for Manchester United, guys. I can throw in all the analogies as we want. You know, this is exactly what it is. At the end of the day, this is what Man United need to do. Man United need to work on 2 deals, 3 deals at a time. So whilst that Mbeumo can take its time, that's fine. Great. You want to take your time for Mbeumo, get the deal done. Fine. But go after other players as well. Go after that player and work on other deals as well and get those deals over the line so that when we get into next season, we're sort of there rather than, still fighting for one player. This is very dangerous strategy that Man United are doing. A very dangerous strategy that Man United could quite possibly go into next season with just Cunha. Imagine that happens. We might as well just, guys, we were here all season watching every single game last season. Do you know what I mean? We saw what happened last season. Amram is the coach that can develop superstars. Look at Conchi Jokeres. I agree with that. This is why I'm talking about people like Milton, Delgado, and players like that, because he can. And that's what I believe. Helge, I don't think there is much of a difference between 38-year-old Vardy, Wilson, Osimhen, to be honest. So that makes a lot of sense by almighty genius, boy wonder Ratcliffe to do that. I mean, genius. What a genius that Ratcliffe is, isn't it? Can find Vardy, Osimhen, Wilson, and Vardy, Wilson, and these players. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, what did we hear the other day? What did we hear? That Jokeres is not much different to Calvert-Lewin. When I heard that, I thought, you know what? These guys are absolute. They're clueless, man. Honest to God. Oh, yeah, the Calvert-Lewin has missed 1,000 games in the last 5 years. Is it that one? Vardy and Wilson, easy to get. Like Man United, are interested in Wilson from Newcastle, but it's an easy target, isn't it? It's we will be helping Newcastle by signing Wilson. It tells you everything you need to know. We will be helping Wilson. Vardy, for goodness' sake, he's done, mate. He's done that here. He's done that at Leicester. Revert 7. Kean has just a good season at 25. He has finally matured as a player and a man, or is he still dodgy mentality? As we just said there, Revert 7, he's a rapper, isn't he? So at the end of the day, he's a part-time rapper. You know what I mean? Is he going to have his full focus on the football? Is he a prima donna? Is he a fame-hungry gentleman who, is not focused fully on football? And that's what we want. We want a player who loves football. We want a player who dedicates his life to football. And that's what we want. And, 100% football. We don't want 75% football, 25% 50 Cent. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely. Which is 50 Cent is probably what Jim Ratcliffe listens to, because at the end of the day, he's probably looking for players worth 50 Cent. Absolutely. Johnny AI Fatsal, cut out the middleman. It's that simple. Absolutely, mate. Cut out the middleman. Go out there, scout the players, go in the mud. It's almost like they don't like. Oh, I don't want to go to Colombia. Oh, I don't want to go to Brazil. Oh, I don't want to look. Oh, I'm too snobby for that. I want to go to the nice, lavish Monaco Grand Prix and things like that. They don't really want to look in the countries that you can find absolute gems and people who have put their life on their line for this football club. People who have put their foot in for this football club. At the end of the day, what I would say. That's why I'm looking forward to seeing Diego Leon play for Man. I'm looking forward to seeing Diego Leon play for Man United. That guy looks ready. No coincidence, isn't it? Helge, the thing is about Kean is crazy, is the price. It's not far off from example Osimhen in price. I know wages come in, but seriously, if we pay 50 million for Euro Kean and Osimhen goes for 65 retarded, I mean, there you go, Helge. There you go. 100%. How much did Jokeres go for? 55 million plus incentives. You know what I mean? Look, there you go. And we're going after Moise Kean for 50. Oh, goodness me. 50 million. Oh, my goodness me. It's a farce, mate. It's an absolute farce. And, I mean, if he signs to Man United, I would support him. Of course I would, but I just don't think that is where Man United should be looking. I absolutely don't really think that. I think that if you get anyone in the Serie A, if you get Wilson in Serie A, for example, or you get Garnacho in Serie A, if you get Rasmus in Serie A, they're probably banging the goals as well, No offense, but I would rather get Vlahovic, someone like that, who is a proper striker. You know what I mean? Who's concentrate 100% on football. Why don't we go after him and try and strike a deal with Juve? And do something like in a swap deal in regards to that or something like that. Obviously, Juve wants Sancho. Maybe we can do a deal like that. Kill two birds with one stone. You know what I mean? Why are we not doing this? Obviously, there was rumours that Man United could do a swap deal with Sancho, with Douglas Luiz, and obviously there was obviously other players as well that we were willing to swap, and they were willing to swap with us. Why are we not doing that? For Vlahovic, for example, Sancho for Vlahovic. Job done. Moise Kean, big up UK Darren. How you doing, my friend? I hope you're doing well. Good to see you, mate. Good to see you. He's bang average. I agree. Helge, if people just want to see how shit he is, go look at last season where he was on fire. The touches are so clumsy. All his goals are like fumbling the ball in a shit league. McTominay became R9. Yeah. You know what? This is the thing, isn't it? The Serie A is not the league it used to be. And this is one thing we have to understand, right? We have to remember that even Lukaku looks like world-class player in that league. Like, what we have to understand is that, it's a slower league. The pace is slower. It's a less physical league. It's not the league that it was in the 90s when it was the best league in the world. Of course, it was the best league in the world, Serie A. Nowadays, Serie A is not the best league in the world, unfortunately, even though I'm my Italian roots and I would say that. You know what I mean? And, I would say that it's a big risk. It's a massive risk to bring in Moise Kean. It is. And if we bring in Moise Kean for 50 million euro and then he flops, another 50 million euro down the drain, and we're going to start saying, oh, we should have done this, should have done that, should have kept Rasmus, should have done this, should have kept Garnacho. And it's going to be, again, we're going to be round and round and we go in the same little cycle, ain't we? You know what I mean? With the same toxicity what's been happening for the last few years, Samuel, how about selling Harry Maguire, Joshua Zirkzee, Marcus Rashford, Mason Mount, and Manuel Ugarte? I like Manuel Ugarte. I wouldn't sell Manuel Ugarte, mate. I wouldn't sell Joshua Zirkzee right now either, mate. I would definitely not do that, and I don't think we'll be able to. Mason Mount would be difficult to offload. Obviously, there is the. Ruben Amorim has said openly that he admires Mason Mount. I don't know why, but he does. Ty Malasa is going to be difficult as well to get rid of. Another dud player, Helge, not that I overhype Cheeto, but no exaggeration. I will 100% prefer 30 games with Cheeto and Højlund, Kean, Højlund, Kean, Calvert-Lewin, Wilson. Helge, absolutely. I mean, why would we go after Moise Kean when we got the next up-and-coming striker in Europe? Apparently. This is what we were hearing when he signed for Man United. Cheeto Obi Martin. Why don't we just play him? Just play him. Let's see how it goes. Guys, look, at this moment in time, our expectations are so low, isn't it, in regards to Man United? So why don't we build for the future? Let's build for the future. All right, we can have Mbeumo, we can have Cunha. Let's play Cheeto up front. This is how he does. What can we lose at the end of the day? He'll be ready. He'll be a year more advanced in his development and stuff like that. Why don't we just go after that? Why can't we do that? Absolutely. Would you rather pull out of an Mbeumo deal and use 65 minutes for Watkins and Martinez for Villa? No, I wouldn't, because I think Mbeumo is going to be a key player, Alex Ferguson. Let me tell you this, right? This is a key player for Man United. Mbeumo would terrorise defences at Man United with Cunha. It will be scary. We need Mbeumo ahead of Watkins and Martinez, which are not scary. At the end of the day, I would say Mbeumo all day. Mbeumo needs to play for Man United. He's a quality player. 20 goals for Brentford for wing last year. That's what we need in our team. Someone with that mentality. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, that's what I want. I don't want Blue. I would love that. I mean, it looks like it's going to happen anyway, but it's going to be. Let's hope. Mark, United has no money. We need to go to Madrid and convince Endrick to join us for one season on loan and have him play with Højlund in the front of Mbeumo and Cunha. There we go. Man United have money, Mark. Don't let them fool you, mate. They have money. They're not spending their money. That is the problem. Okay. Let me just tell you that right now. Never say Man United have no money, because we rejected 100 million for a 31-year-old Bruno. So we obviously got money, right? They've got money. Just like I said, they got money. Never come on this channel and say we got no money, because I know we have got money, and because that's feeding into Glazeronomics. They have. They're hiding their money. They were going to buy Chelsea for 5 billion. Where did that 4 billion go? They put 1 billion in Man United. Okay, great. In regards to when in the Glazers' pocket, 4 billion. Where's that gone? You know what I mean? I will never say they've got no money, and they're in a position to reject 100 million. So they got money. Tucker, how about Vardy from the left? From Vardy and the lad from Juventus contract being terminated, provided we get Mbeumo. And Vardy's too long. He's gone, mate. He's finished, mate. Tucker, he's gone. Vardy is finished. He is finished. His legs are gone. Kean, lead the line well for until last night. The talent is there. The question is for me, mentality growing up now. Worth a punt? No, not for 50 million. We've at 7. We have to be very careful where we spend our money. Osman is worth 60, so at the end of the day, like, where are we going with this? We can get Osman for 10 million more. I don't think Moise is that guy. I really don't. If we get him, I'll support him. Of course, I will support him, but I just don't think he's that guy, guys. Absolutely. Alex Ferguson, Watkins, Martin, 100 million. Alex Ferguson, Watkins plus will be 90 to 100 million deal. Not worth it. Ephraim, good morning, Sal. What do you think of Amram said I am relaxed on transfers? But what do you want him to say, Ephraim? What do you want him to say? At the end of the day, he could say, I'm pissed off. He could say, I'm fed up with this. This is a farce. This is a joke. What do you want him to say at the end of the day? He has to just talk for the media's sake, because we all know what happens if Ruben Amram comes out there and starts saying that I'm frustrated, I'm annoyed, I'm pissed off, and blah, blah, blah. That's just going to create a load of nonsense, isn't it, in the media? So obviously this is media talk. They're trained to do it. This is how managers talk. This is how footballers talk. They're trained. It's media talk. Media talk. It's a technique that they use, just to keep everything sweet. It's a bit like when someone comes up to them, a journalist, and asks them about a player, and they say very nice things about a player. For example, Amram will say a nice thing about Onana, for example, but he might not rate Onana, but he's not going to go out there and say, oh, Onana's crap. You know what I mean? I don't want him at the football club. He's going to say, well, yeah, he's a good lad, da, 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 da. You know what I mean? And this is the thing. Watkins, I take for 50 million max. I wouldn't take him for 50. He's 29, nearly 30. Dabizas, I'm going to pay more than 35 million for, no more than 35. I pay more than 35. I would not pay more than 35 million for Watkins, mate. It flopped last season as well, by the way. But you know what? One thing I would say is that 29 years old, we're not going to be rinsed in the market. That is ridiculous pricing. We can go out there and buy a player, you know what I mean? I'd rather play Gino. Amram must look at loans and free players, like fucking bottom 10 club. Exactly, Mark. Aaron needs to be backed, or what's the point? Exactly what we were talking about yesterday. Yavi Guerra signing a new deal we could get him for 25 million euros here. Richard Rios being into Inter and a 25 we're doing so bad in the market. We're rubbish, mate. We're rubbish, and we're not very flexible. We go after one player. We focus our energy on one player and we don't look anywhere else. And that is the problem. Tunnel vision mentality, scouting, ridiculous. And, they need people with a smart football brain to be working, because I don't think they are. I thought they were. I thought that's what we got them in for. We are unable to pay the striker. Why don't we swap for Sancho for Vlahovic? This is exactly what we're saying. Why don't they do deals like that? Why don't we go to Juventus and get Vlahovic? Make something happen. Make something happen. Help us to help you. Help us to help you at the end of the day. That's what Man United need to do. We need to just move out. Come on. You know what I mean? Stop this nonsense. Stop just faffing about and stuff. Sancho. We give you Sancho, you give us Vlahovic. We're done. Thank you very much. Sayonara. All the best. You know what I mean? We won't, though, will we? Villa, 55 million and 40 million for Martinez. That's way too much money for them. And I want to do that deal. Absolutely not. It's overpriced. We can get players in Europe for far less, younger and more of a long-term thing. If we got Ollie Watkins, I would say Ollie Watkins in this current market would be 30 million, 35 million. I would say that, and then that would be fine. But we're not going after 50, 60, you know what I mean, for a 29-year-old when that is the price of Osman. You know what I mean? Madness. And he didn't set up any. He didn't set the world alight last season as well. We need players in their prime. We had enough young players already. I think Watkins has passed his prime. We've at 7. Highly overpriced on both. Absolutely. In regards to scouting, did you see Spurs who bought young player of the season from the South Korean leagues, 90-year-old centre back? There you go, guys. There you go, Helge. Exactly what I said at the top of the show about scouting in Japan, in South Korea, and places like that. Why are we not doing this? You'll find someone better than Ollie Watkins. You will, but they just don't want to do it. They're too narrow-minded. Or Japan, what's that got to do with anything? Now, do they actually play football? That's the mentality that I think they're going for. That's the mentality that I think they have. Very, very ignorant sort of ownership we have and tunnel visioned. Ephraim, Amram becoming Glazers and Ineos mouthpiece. What can we do? Incompetent owners. What do you want him to do, Ephraim? At the end of the day, what do you want him to do? He hasn't come out and said anything in the media recently. He's not said anything. So at the end of the day, he's not going to come out there and start swearing and effing and blinding right now against his ownership. And what you can't do that. You get sacked, won't you? But what he can do, he can talk about the team, and the team's not good enough. Which he has done numerous amounts of times. And when he does do that, then the media jump on him in it and say he's too honest. Didn't Ruben Amorim say this is the worst Man United team of all time? I believe him. He said it. He's not going to say it for no reason. He might backtrack, but he said it, didn't he? I'm not blaming anything on Ruben Amorim. I don't care about this mouthpiece business. This is exactly Ephraim. This is exactly planting a seed of what the Glazers want you to do. Mouthpiece, Amorim, mouthpiece, Amorim. Connect the two dots. Amorim. You're going to start planting the seed against anti-Amorim. Don't blame nothing on Amorim. Put your energy towards the board. Glazers, Ineos, that's it. Forget about what Amorim has to do. Amorim manages a football team. His duty is to make results happen on a football team. That's what I would say. Big up, Ephraim. Alex Ferguson, they might ask for a price, but they won't get it. Bill, Chelsea losing 3 or 4-0 in the final. I agree with that. Big up, Timo. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well, you legend. Hope you're doing good. Good to see you, mate. Really good to see you. And thank you for your super chat as well the other day, Timo. Really appreciate that. And thank you for supporting the channel, my guy. Lots of great stuff coming for the members, of course. Dabby says, why can't we try 19-year-old centre-back with Juan Gimenez? We've spoken about him before on the show, Dabby says. We've spoken about him a number of times on the show. Me, Danny B, everyone. We're very on the ball in regards to players around South America. We've spoken about him already. This is exactly what we're saying. Why don't we go after Gimenez? Why don't we do that? But they won't do that, will they? And this is exactly what we're talking about on this show right now, is that why don't we go after the likes of Juan Gimenez and these players you can get for a fraction of the price that you'll get in Europe? Exactly that. So why don't we do that? Why don't we find a striker at Boca Juniors, at River Plate, at Estudiantes, or these teams? Why don't we do that? If Alex Ferguson could do that, a proven winner can go to a club like Chivas and find Chicharito, right? Why can't we do that now? Are we that arrogant that we're not going to go after a Mexican player or something like that? It's mad, isn't it? What about Diego Forlan? Became a legend. Made a song about him. Let's be honest, the club is a mess. Absolutely, revert 7. Only 5 million ask price can go up to 8 million. Big up Davizas. Yep. 19-year-olds. Yeah. We know about him, mate. We know about him on this channel. Nothing gets past us, mate. We've already mentioned it. It's insane if we get up paying 50 million for Watkins at 45 million for Kean or something. Then Osman goes for Gala for the same price. I feel like either we won't get a striker or it'll be Wilson or Vardy. If we get Wilson or Vardy, mate, I'll give up, mate. Because at the end of the day, I would just much rather play Chido Obi Martin or bring Musa in the first team squad. Because at the end of the day, I don't want any Vardys and Wilsons at this football club. Sorry. I don't want to sound snobby. I don't want to sound arrogant. I just don't want them. I don't think I think they're finished. If I was to choose between Vardy and Wilson, if there was a choice between Vardy and Wilson, I'll go for Wilson, plainly because he's younger. Vardy's 38 years old. No matter what type of footballer you are, if you're 38 years old, it's in the Premier League, it's difficult. No, it's a complete rogue. Big up, Mark. Embarrassing to be linked with some of these players. What have we become? Javier Lito, big up yourself. Hope you're doing well. It is very embarrassing, Javier. And it's not what we Man United should be. And unfortunately, we are getting worse and worse by the year. I thought we bought in these ownerships and these vanity projects and all that to improve at least, but we haven't improved at the moment. As I asked the question again, are we better without Ineos? Are we better with just the Glazers? And I hate the Glazers, right? And I don't use hate lightly, that word. I rarely use that word. I hate the Glazers, right? But are we better without Ineos? Because at the moment I'm looking at things, and at least like back when the Glazers were there, we'd throw money at things and stuff like that, and we would try and make things happen. And more times than not, we'd qualify for the Champions League sometimes, and do things like that. Nowadays, it's like, this is like a Southampton window. This is a Southampton window. This is a team that, let's say that this is not what Man United should be. This is not. Man United had one of their worst seasons in their history, apart from the relegation in 1974. We should have been fighting this summer to get the players over the line, whether we have to overpay or not, get it done. And then I'm hearing names like Ollie Watkins and Calvert-Lewin and Moise Keans and Vardy's and Wilson's for the same price as Osimhen. And you know what? It's a joke. It really is. Helge, I feel United scouting is the equivalent of a 60-year-old semi-alcoholic you'll meet at any given bar. Yeah, that was Watkins, lad. Is all right, mate. Yeah, Vardy, yeah, exactly. A pub. It's like a conversation in a pub, isn't it? Yeah, get that. What Man United should go for. They should go after that. Go for that Vardy geezer. You know what I mean? He's all right. He'll bang in the goals for Man United, wouldn't he? And yeah. Why don't we just go and get Dean Smith from Leyton Orient in League One? Why don't we do that as well? So let's go and get Galbraith. You know what I mean? And players like that in the lower divisions. Let's do that as well. Let's go and sign these players, shall we? It's madness, isn't it? Mark, Helge, United should stop doing clubs like Villa and play a ban of like 45 minutes. If United was selling Watkins, we wouldn't even get 5 minutes. Spot on, Mark. We are feeding into we're basically these teams bank. We're basically Chelsea's bank, right? Chelsea need money, offer a player to Man United, and that's what Aston Villa are doing now. You need money. We need money. Go to Man United. They'll buy your player, and they'll buy him for 50 million. Look at us. We can't even sell Garnacho. You know what I mean? Garnacho, the Puskas winner. The top 5 young players in the world at one point. Copa America winner, FA Cup winner, scored in an FA Cup final against City. Good young player, still only 21. Can't even get rid of him. Exactly. What's happening with Mbeumo? Taking ages. Absolutely, mate. I'm tired of it, to be honest with you, mate. These ownerships will do anything to save money. They do not care about football, how they think we're spending. They don't care about football. They don't care about nothing about football. And I said that from before they walked into the football club, that they don't care about this football club. They don't care about it. Let me tell you that right now. Let me clear everyone's head about it. Everyone who believes in Ineos. Jim Ratcliffe doesn't care about Manchester United. Let me tell you that right now. Jim Ratcliffe doesn't care about Manchester United. All he cares about is a regeneration project happening in a few years down the line, in 10 years, buying time again, and his name up in lights to Jim Ratcliffe Stadium, to Jim Ratcliffe Way, Ineos Park, things like that. Do you know what I mean? This is what it's going to be. Glazer Street, Glazer's Hotel. You know what I mean? I don't want to give them any ideas because, this is probably what it will be because this is what they're looking for. They're looking to stamp their name on anything. Like we said, it's a vanity project. Disgusting vanity project. Absolutely. Big up God's time, Udine. Big up yourself. Hope you're doing well, my brother. Hope you're well. Good to see you. What's going on, Man United? What isn't going on with Man United at the moment? You know what I mean? I will try and bring in something positive for you guys. I will do. I'm trying my best. It's just getting difficult, isn't it, at the end of the day? Lee Davies. Be nice. Buy an Englishman would be the only reason I would watch England again. We got Lee. Chris, good morning. If the media are the haters, it feels like they are all trying to stop us, like they stopped us having Qatar. Yeah, Chris, this is exactly what it is. And when this deal was ongoing, the slanderous nature of people around the world in regards to Qatar, it was disgraceful. I went to Qatar only a couple of days ago. I was in Qatar, right? And I've never seen a country, an airport, a country as well, so advanced. They've got a water fountain like a massive water fountain and a park in the airport. In the airport. I mean, and you look at it and you think, look at this. I first went to Qatar, right? In 2007. It's the first time I went to Qatar. Before everyone was talking about Qatar, I went to Qatar in 2007. And they had nothing. They had shops and stuff. They sold good things. It was expensive and stuff like that. But since then, you see the development, what they've done. Now you see Abu Dhabi and you see Qatar and you see what they've done at PSG and you see what they've done at Manchester City and other clubs around the world. You see what they've done to those football clubs. And then that will give you an idea who they are. This slanderous, sinister nature that people had during the buyout process was nothing short of embarrassing. We exposed ourselves in the football world for who we are. We basically were given a life support machine, right? And you know what, we had this life support machine offered to us. We're choking. We need a life support machine. We had this life support machine given to us. And what do we do with the life support machine? No, I'm right. I'm good. I'll try and breathe my own oxygen. I'm good. But you can't breathe. No, I can breathe a little bit. I could breathe a little bit. You know what I mean? And what Jim Ratcliffe has done, another analogy, you're there in your, Man United are on a life support. Okay, let's, for argument's sake, right? Man United are on a life support, right? And the thing is going, did, right? Like this, right? Jim Ratcliffe comes along, right? This thing, the life support is Qatar. That's the life support. Jim Ratcliffe comes along, sits on the edge of the bed, takes out your life support machine and plugs in his phone to charge his phone. That is what Jim Ratcliffe done at Man United. That is what he done. That is the vanity. That is the arrogance. And when he walked into Old Trafford, not even in a suit, with his old 1996 little leather bag that he had in his hand, probably got his sandwiches in there, probably made them at home, tuna sandwiches, probably just butter and bread sandwiches. When he had there, then you see Qatar representatives coming in suits and stuff. I knew it from that day. I said, this guy is a joke. You look at his face. If he smiles, it looks like his face is going to smash like glass. This is what I'm talking about with this guy. It's like people don't look at it. Oh, he's mate born and bred. He's mate born and bred. He's one of us. I don't care if he's one of you, mate. I don't care. I spent my whole life being called a Cockney Red because I'm from London. My whole life. You know what I mean? That whilst these players, and many of these players are not from Manchester, many of these managers are not from Manchester. Cantona's not from Manchester, is he? Is he? Beckham is not from Manchester, is he? You know what I mean? Dwight York is not from Manchester. Andy Cole is not from Manchester. Roy Keane is not from Manchester. Schmeichel's not from Manchester. Dennis Irwin is not from Manchester. Want me to go on? Cristiano Ronaldo, hell no, is not from Manchester. This is exactly what it is. Mate, born and bred. What are you talking about, mate? He supports Chelsea. He has a Chelsea season ticket. Who has that? Someone could offer me a Chelsea season ticket. I say, no, I'm good, bro. I'm all right. I don't want a Chelsea season ticket. You can have that. You know what I mean? And then he wants to buy Chelsea for $5 billion, right? But they rejected it. They rejected the offer. Chelsea rejected the offer for Ineos. Why did Chelsea reject the offer? Why did they go for Todd Bowley? And then, where can I boost my ego? Manchester United. Yeah, let me boost my ego, the biggest club in the world. I'm going to try and boost my ego. I'm going to try and do a deal with the Glazers. And he sold the Glazers a dream. And this was their dream deal because the Glazers had to let go of this football club because they couldn't afford the infrastructure. They couldn't afford the rebuild of the squad. Right? They needed help with the regeneration project. Right? They needed to leave this football club. They had to leave. They couldn't afford it anymore. What did Jim Ratcliffe do? He got that life support machine that was plugged into Manchester United and he gave it to the Glazers. He gave the Glazers the life support machine. And this is what I'm talking about. And we had people during the takeover process who were like, we don't want any human rights. Mate, there's only 2 countries in the world that voted against food being a human right. Do you want me to tell you what those countries were? Shall I tell you about the birds and the bees, what the countries were that voted against food being a human right, basic human right? Do you want that? One of them is from where the Glazers are from, by the way. And this is exactly, what I'm talking about, and we did it to ourselves. Exactly what Radioheads once said. We do it to ourselves. We do. That's what really is. Yeah, that's what we are. Our own worst enemy. And here we are, guys. Lo and behold. Ta-da! Thank you. Here we are. We're at this stage, like we said. Stop being so negative. Stop being so negative, bruv. Stop being so negative. Heard it all before. Big up, Chris. Helge. Brailsford marginal gains. How about her marginal gains? Having a bloody striker in. I think he means marginal gains in regards to relegation. We're marginally avoid relegation. I think that's his marginal gains. I don't think his marginal gains was about winning. I think his marginal gains are actually, we got the wrong side of the stick. I think his marginal gains were about losing. We marginally avoid relegation. Like that. You know what I mean? Absolutely. Can't do the big things right. Absolutely. We are the worst run club in the league. 50 pound for pound, Revert 7. I said this to Jamie Jackson yesterday. Don't forget to watch my show with Jamie Jackson, guys. Brilliant show. Pound for pound, we are the worst team in the country because of our facilities, who we are. We're the worst run team in the country. Pound for pound, probably the worst team in the country because of our facilities, our wages, our money we spend on players. Worst team in the country right now. No worse club. Cheer up to Dinga. Big up, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Guys, thank you, everyone who managed to join me today. You absolute legends. Big up, everyone. Sorry if I can't read out all your comments, guys, but big up everyone who came along today, guys. Thank you so very much, guys. Have a great day, great night, great evening, guys. And please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Guys, if you're new, let me just read. Team out, big up Tyborg. What's going on, you legend? Good morning, guys. I'm on a vacation, but still trying to follow you, of course. Hope you're having a great vacation, Tyborg. Good to see you, mate. Happy vacation, Tyborg. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, mate. Good to see you again, my friend. Good to see you. Big up everyone who joined me. Absolute legends, guys. Thank you so much, guys. Big up Albie. Thank you so much again. And guys, big up Bill Asif. Good to see you, mate. Big up Pete. Big up Coco. Big up everyone. Big up Bill. Guys, I will be back later on for Chatterbox. Please don't forget to join me for that. I shall see you then. And if anything breaks, I will be live for you guys as well. I'll drop everything and we'll be live for you guys. Have a great day, great night, great evening, wherever you are in the world. I'm Sal Walnut. This is Breaking Dawn. Enjoy yourself. Take it easy. Peace.